Welcome back to the Shining Light Press podcast. I'm your host, Freddie Lopez, and Happy New Year to everyone. It is January 4th, 2023, a few days into the new year, and it's been a while. It's been a while since we've had one of these episodes, ever since the campaign trail, but we are now back into the thick of it, and today I am joined by my very good friend and colleague, Audrey Trujillo. He is the true GOP nominee for Secretary of State. In fact, I would go as even far to say she is the true Secretary of State of New Mexico. I don't think she needs any introduction. Please welcome Audrey Trujillo. Audrey, welcome back and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me. So 2023 is here, guys. Are you excited, Freddie?
Yes, I am. I am super excited. A lot of great things are happening already, and I think we're going to have a really great New Year. Don't you think so?
Right. I think so too. Well, I think a lot of people were disappointed in the election. A lot of just big disappointment. We wanted some major changes in 2023, and we ended up with the same old bag of Democrats that really have shown that they really don't care for New Mexico. And I think what we're looking forward to in 2023 is just to kind of bring in some solutions on how we can strengthen our Republican Party and bring in new exciting people in, get a lot of participation. We need participation to make anything grow. And, we have Scott Pressler, who's, signing up people left and right in all these states. And he came here in New Mexico when we invited him down. And, it's exciting to have someone like that. And we need someone like that here in New Mexico. We need to get our youth involved. And that's why I wanted to kind of switch this on you, Mr. Freddie, and ask you a couple questions, because I think, Freddie is a very smart young guy, born and bred here in New Mexico. He's very encouraging to the youth. He's encouraging even to us adults. And we need that kind of energy. We need that kind of energy. And I think, his involvement in the Republican Party is a huge plus. And that was one of the main reasons why I gave him such a huge task to help and participate in my campaign. And, just to learn and to create those connections with people. Our generation is fading. We have people in the Republican Party who are getting older, and they need to pass the torch and bring in these young individuals who have the energy and the concern for New Mexico and for our state and our country, and give them the reins. Teach them how to be a positive light in such a dire state that we're in right now. And I'm just so excited to be a part of that, and to encourage my friend Freddie to just continue to participate and be a leader in his young Republican Party. We need to get him out there, and he needs to start talking to other Republicans and other conservatives and give them the true meaning of what being a Republican is. Because right now, I don't think people know what a Republican is. They're so confused. We've had such bad media coverage on what we stand for as Republicans, and some of the things that I think people get all kind of stuck on is major events that not events, but like issues such as like abortion and the border crisis and just things that are impacting everybody. New Mexico is one of those states that we have beautiful land. We have a very small population. If any state can be impacted by a few very strong leading people, it can be New Mexico. And I think, this is where it starts. It starts with our youth. We got to put some dedication and actually some money behind what we want to do to help these young individuals succeed. So Freddie, I have a question for you, or a few
Okay.
questions actually.
Mhm.
So I understand you graduated from CNM, right? Or the
I
call or
graduated from the Santa Fe Community College.
okay, Santa Fe Community College. And what is your degrees? What did you graduate with?
I graduated with an associate's in business administration.
And why did you choose that? Why did you choose to go into that field?
The reason why I decided to focus on business administration is because I am the son of a small business owner. My dad has a very prestigious art gallery in the downtown Santa Fe area, and I wanted to learn about business because perhaps one day I might be in charge of the business. And I also wanted to focus on that degree because I, because being my dad who's a business owner, I have like a very business mindset when it comes to things, when it comes to solving issues, like how can we make this product better? How can we sell this product? How can we make sure that people will share the word about this particular product? So I got into business just because I love business and I think it's the best way to do it because I don't feel like many folks even know how to even start a small business, let them know what it takes to do a small business. And I figured, you know what? This is something that I decided to focus on. And I focused on that for 2 years. And I actually graduated just last year in May with my associate. So that's the reason why I decided to pick it.
Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
actually graduated with a bachelor's in criminology and Spanish, which was kind of odd.
Wow.
But we have so much crime in New Mexico that at the time it's really interesting to go into degrees that you feel you can make an impact in. I went on to get my master's in public administration, and it was a focus on justice administration. And it is a business degree, you except you work with the public versus private business. And when we look at New Mexico, primarily small businesses are our business here. We have some corporations, we have like big corporations like Intel, we have the labs, we have, those type of businesses here, but primarily, you know, I think the biggest portion is our small businesses. And, especially when they're derived from the arts. New Mexico is very culturally driven, and like your dad, he's a tin worker, right? He
He's a
makes tin
Princeton.
art and beautiful work. In fact, he's right across his studio is right across where my grandparents used to own their gallery in the Santa Fe Village, down in the heart of Santa Fe. And when I met Freddie, I had no clue, that his dad had that shop, and I got to go down there and speak to some of the local artists, some of Freddie's friends and Democrats, and it was really cool because it was like getting back to my roots. And I think, those are the things that culturally we forget. We forget that where we came from. But don't you think, Freddie? Don't you think that's sometimes, you get so caught up in everything else. Like once you move away, like I moved away when I was right after graduation, and I went to not too far, but I went to the University of New Mexico and moved. I had a home, and I bought my first home when I was 17 years old, um, and moved from my mom and dad, and went to school at UNM. And just that move totally makes you grow because it's a whole different environment when you come to Albuquerque. Albuquerque is not Santa Fe, for sure. It's not that far away. It's about, 45 minutes to an hour away, but it is definitely a little culture shock there because things that were very important in Santa Fe were not important here in Albuquerque as much. And so it's very nice to visit, to go back to Santa Fe and just kind of roam the plaza and everywhere where my grandparents, where we were brought up with my mom and dad and my grandparents. And it brings a lot of love and realization that Santa Fe can be beautiful once more, because there's so much love and faith and traditions there that myself, thank God, I was able to be brought up in the 80s and the early 90s, and just to be able to see the environment how it was back then versus how it is now. I'm not saying everything's bad now, but the fact is that we have so many people that have moved away from Santa Fe, and it's not the same. You have your locals that are all, probably most of them are in Rio Rancho because they got booted out of Santa Fe because they can't afford the taxes and everything else that has really pushed people out and pushed them to sell. But fortunately, we have people like Freddie still there and his family and many of our families still there. And they're digging their heels in because they understand the importance of our culture. And it's really interesting because when I first met Freddie, I had no idea he was from Santa Fe. I knew his last name was Lopez, um, but I had no idea like what his background was. And I learned a lot about Freddie, especially when we started working on this campaign together and deciding what route we wanted to go. We definitely agreed on many issues, and we definitely wanted to make sure that this was a true grassroots campaign. And I remember, we had to kind of always go back and forth on things because when you're running a campaign, you come to crossroads in a lot of things. There's a lot of, I guess, distractions that you can get from different people on wanting to push you in certain areas. And it was like we always had to center. We always were like, no, we're not going to do that because that's not grassroots. No, we're not going to participate in that because it's not grassroots. It's not really what the citizens are wanting. And with this campaign, and I thank Freddie for a lot of it, we kept to that. And I'm really proud about that. And I hadn't been able to really talk about it because, like anything, when you don't succeed at the end, you feel kind of broken, I guess, and hurt that, not that you didn't lose or win, but the fact that the change that you were really wanting, now we're gonna have to wait, and it's gonna still happen, but we had so many aspirations and dreams of how we could really work to make New Mexico a great state again and not be so driven by such I don't know, tyrannical institutions that they've placed within our government. Um, Forcing people to vaccinate or lose their job. That was a big issue. For having people divided, so divided that even though mask mandates went off, you have a lot of liberals that'll wear masks just to make sure that they divide themselves from the normal folks like myself and Freddie and everybody else that don't participate in that type of, um, you know, it's just weird. It's like I've seen that, and it's really disheartening because we have so much. We just have so much here in New Mexico that we need to really start fighting for, especially with our new generations. So I was really excited to hear that Mr. Freddie is going to be participating in the Young Republican groups and really probably trying to really build the Young Republicans in New Mexico. I think that is such an awesome thing. And he's also running for second vice chair, right? For the Santa
Vice the
Fe
Santa Fe County Republican Party.
County, yes. And I mean, this young guy is just incredible. He's just got so much number one, energy. We can bottle his energy. We would make so much money. Let's try to do that, Freddie. but but just the motivation, and he's such a kind heart, he's very genuine and in his actions, and genuinely he just wants the best for New Mexico, and it's so great to see that in young people. We need more of that, and I think his message really resonates not only with our conservatives, but with our conservative young folk, because they don't have a voice. They're living, I think, in a society where the norm, or what's peer pressure, I guess you want to call it, is to be this progressive liberal person who doesn't have no moral compass. And to see someone like Freddie, and to hear him speak about issues that are really dire and important to him, that to me gives me hope. It gives me hope that we need to make sure that when we're gone, we're leaving this state, and this, we have a generation out there that's going to fight for us when we're gone. So thank you, Freddie, and keep going. I encourage you. Like I said, I always have your back, and I'll always, be in your corner, and sometimes I'll steer you in the right direction when I see you going astray, like I will. But other than that, thank you for just being a young person, and really wanting to get involved and participate in politics. Politics isn't fun, it's very dirty, it's very nasty. You find out who your true friends are, and I was told a while back there are no friends in politics. Well, I can see that, but in all reality, you do find your true friends, because they're the ones that are going to be there even when all the dust is settled. And regardless if you're right or wrong, that person or those persons are gonna, they stand by you regardless. And that's what I think Freddie has been to me. He's been a true friend. He's been a good person. He's been just a stand-up young man. And I think, he's got a really huge future ahead of him. I think he may even be the mayor of Santa Fe one day, and I hope so, because we need a good mayor there. We need somebody who gives a shit about our people. No pun intended. But we do need some good people in there. And like I said, he's going down a very promising path. And I think he's going to stand strong on his beliefs. One of the things that I think is amazing about Freddie is that, he's 21, he's legal to drink if he wanted to, and he restrains. He doesn't want that. He, has his own convictions, and he stands strong on them. And I think that is awesome, especially in today's society where there is so much alcohol abuse and drug abuse